Across the Middle East, today's headlines are dominated by missiles, strikes, retaliation, and regional escalation. A major military campaign by the United States and Israel against Iran has triggered counter-attacks from Iranian forces, resulting in missile and drone attacks on Israeli and Gulf targets. Airspace closures and thousands of cancelled flights reflect the disruptions caused by our globalized world. Political leaders debate whether to escalate or restrain the conflict, while ordinary civilians experience the unpredictable shockwaves. Gulf states face difficult choices between maintaining neutrality and becoming involved. Diplomatic channels are filled with discussions and negotiations, even as artillery continues to thunder. This conflict is not confined to distant geography. Its effects ripple through economies, families, and the global consciousness. What we observe externally is chaos, shattered cities, shattered lives, fractured alliances, and motives shrouded in secrecy intertwined with ancient grievances. In Séfer Bereshít, the primordial moment before creation is described as tóhu va-vóhu, a disordered, shapeless potential that precedes form, meaning, and light. In this state, there is no direction, boundaries, or name. In Kabbalistic, not ballistic, thought, this chaos is not inherently evil. It is an unformed divinity that is waiting to be molded. The moment we impose a narrative on it, declaring this war is right and that side is wrong, we solidify a portion of the violence. War becomes a story to tell, and once it becomes a story, identity collides with it, and the cycle of retaliation perpetuates itself. So what is happening in the Middle East today? If we look beyond geopolitical perspectives and adopt a contemplative approach, we are witnessing a tearing of veils. It is not merely territory contested or power at stake, but a collapse of old structures, both political and psychic, that can no longer accommodate the yearnings of people and their histories. The death, destruction, displacement, and disruption symbolize the pre-creation void, the unformed primal force that must be acknowledged before any new form can emerge. The more we resist recognizing it, the more the world becomes rigid, mirroring the very conflict we fear. While all religions depict ancient images of warfare and profound mystical interpretations, these battles transcend territorial boundaries. They represent inner harmonization. The warrior in the Psalms does not triumph over a tangible enemy. Instead, he conquers the internal adversary. The true war lies between the higher self, seeking light and unity, and the lower self, clinging to separation. When we externalize this war, focusing on nations or systems alone, we remain trapped within the narrative of tóhu. We have not yet discovered the path to tikkún. The headlines report on missiles and politics, while the contemplative eye perceives broken vessels and unspoken wounds. It cannot help but wonder, what if this great rupture is not the beginning of ultimate destruction, but the final convulsion of outdated forms? What if tóhu is pushing through, creating something new? In the deepest contemplative traditions, before the dawn of creation, there existed a stillness, not empty, but brimming with potential. Nothing moved, everything awaited. Perhaps now, amidst the discord of war, there is also an unseen stillness, a moment when humanity is invited to look inward, to recognize how war resides within the psyche long before manifesting in the world. We resist this because confronting the formlessness feels terrifying. However, every blade of grass grows from the same emptiness, and every star ignites from the same pressure. From tóhu, the hidden light transforms into vessels of form. When these vessels cannot contain it, they break, and from the breaking, new vessels of greater capacity eventually emerge. This is not an endorsement of violence. It is a recognition that reality is not static, but a process. I once found myself in an airport lounge, observing a weary attendant who carelessly spilled a beer. Amidst the small chaos, the splashes, drink, and the pause, I instinctively spoke. Don't worry. After chaos, there will always be peace. At that moment, I did not consciously choose a more precise word like order or structure. However, the spirit transcended the limitations of language. Peace, shalóm, is not merely the absence of war, it is the wholeness, the reconciliation of opposites. War and peace are not separate entities. They are two sides of the same movement, the universe progressing toward integration. Therefore, we return to the ancient rhythm. After chaos, order follows. After chaos, peace arrives.